congratulations being here at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. This is a special moment for you guys tonight to talk about that.
Yeah. It's very exciting to show the movie to an audience for the first time. People that we don't know. I've shown it to people that I know to get notes, before we closed the cut. This is the first time the movie is completely finished and shown to a real audience.
Yes,
very exciting.
The world premiere. I'm really excited to be here. Yep.
Strange feeling.
If this is such a world premiere here in Santa Barbara, why didn't you do a world premiere in Peru, where the movie was made?
Yeah.
We wanted to end there.
Oh, you want to end there? That would be a very long
We
trip.
want to premiere it ideally close to a commercial release there.
Yes.
So we want to kind of,
Excellent.
Yes. Also, it's exciting for us to play the film here because we have a lot of family in LA, friends.
For me, LA is a little bit like home too. So
Yes.
a lot of family here.
You grew up in LA, kind of, right?
I became a human. In LA. I was subhuman before I moved to LA.
Yes. So it is like kind of a hometown play. We have dozens of family members coming out. And,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now tell me where the original idea came from for a man in his 50s living with his bedridden mother. I mean, it's a hilarious film.
Oh, cool!
Yes.
Thank you. The original idea, huh? A person that was close to mine had a similar emotional experience of going through depression after a divorce and needing to move back home, where his mother was living disabled, unable to walk, and due to a stroke. So I experienced that, witnessed it from the outside, and thought it was interesting. And that led to the idea of to wanting to explore the character and started to creating the character and the story. The idea itself of the recreation of the room, that was kind of just like
It was all made.
made through different ways.
Yes. Conversations, imagination, dreams,
drinks.
Yes.
One of the things I do admit that was beautiful, because I have never been to Peru. The farthest I ever went is Quito, Ecuador myself.
Cool.
But you have amazing shots of all this architecture, all this building. So how did you find all that? Just wander around, just take pictures?
Yeah, well, we actually.
Oh, you get stuck.
He had to talk. He's the cinematographer. I had an idea of what the importance of architecture and engineering and sort of urbanism in the story, and then it was about finding the right places.
Yeah, and I think it was a little bit easier for me because I came from like an outside perspective, and I was more impressed with a lot of the different types of buildings going on. Like if you grew up there, I think you're just sort of used to it. And we really talked about making architecture really prevalent in a lot of the shots. Like even when they're in the office, you can see the skyline behind them always, or obviously in the streets and a lot of those shots. But it was just through like research and driving around a lot and location scouting. And we're also looking at we're going to museums and looking at a lot of pictures of architecture that were taken and paintings and stuff from Peru.
Yeah.
We're just trying to like really source local.
Yeah, my dad's an architect, and I grew up around models and talking about architecture. So that was, I guess, architecture is always on my mind, and I have an obsession with it. When I travel, I'm always like.
And you have very close friends who are accomplished architects.
Yeah, totally.
And,
architecture is just a thing, and so we knew that it was a story about the urban landscape of the city as well as the character's own intimate personal story.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an important part of this.
Yes, in a way, there's this change in the city is mirrored in this emotional change that the character is going through.
Well, let's talk about the characters in the film. I want to talk about the house itself. That house looks like a very special house. I even wanted to live there. Where did you find that house? Is it still around? I hope you didn't demolish it.
No.
Soon it will be.
Really?
Like everything else, man.
Oh, that's sad.
It's all dying and changing. That's the fate of the world.
So where is this house and how did you find it?
It's in Barranco, right?
Barranco,
It's in
that's
a
Lima.
historic neighborhood in Lima, and in fact, I mean, this is happening so much in Peru that certain families that own a house are really proud of it. They write big letter signs outside the house. This house not for sale.
Oh wow!
Because everybody is selling their kind of historic homes, and
Yeah, and a lot of times what happens is that a family that's big, they end up having internal disputes as to who gets how much, what percentage of the ownership and stuff
After
like that.
someone dies,
That leads to a lot of family drama.
yes.
But
But there was this is happening so much that there was a mirror in the production of the film where it was really, really hard to find
oh, that's
house
true.
to film in. It took a really,
interior.
really long time.
The interior,
yes.
and this is a fun aspect that happens in film often is that in the movie the exterior of the house is different than the interior.
Yeah.
Where there were two separate locations. One is the facade that you see is different from all the interiors. And
Yes, and in fact, the interior where we shot, the house is a little bit in a state of flux because there was only one person living there. A lot of it was kind of abandoned, right?
and that was similar. That was a similar rhyme,
Yes.
an interesting rhyme to the actual story.
Yes.
It's like,
And we had to kind of redo the floor for some of it, redo the walls, repaint stuff because it was in real disrepair. Yeah.
yeah.
So you literally restored it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
No, we did. We
Yes.
totally did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. And yeah, really interesting. But it is, unfortunately, as Alonso said, it's a matter of time until the house is gone.
For sure,
The way
both,
things are there
both
because
exterior one. A short film I did a few years ago had a similar theme of a family living in an old house like that, and I remember I found it by literally walking and knocking on doors, and this family inside it was crazy. It was like 8 families living in this old mansion. They had distributed the house in such a way there was like a lot of people there, and we shot it. It came out great, and then I went back home to see it. I went back there to talk to them about the possibility of using it for this film, to reuse the house, and it was demolished.
Oh wow!
And 2 years and that happened just all the time.
Wow.
yes, a lot of it is driven by this kind of real estate boom that the movie covers, where family will sell just the location of the house if it's central in Lima. For someone to build
Real
100
estate is
condos on top of it, right?
Very valuable right now.
Yes.
There, yeah.
I'm also equally impressed that you filmed out in the desert with a 1-bedroom
Oh
shack.
yeah.
Did you actually have to rebuild that out in the middle of nowhere? Rebuild that
you,
set?
you can tell that one.
Well, that was actually, it was just 3 walls that were built out there, and we redressed in Lima a different room, so the interiors were all.
Yes.
The original one that the production designer did an amazing job, I think, of
Yes.
reconfiguring it, and then we talked a lot about how we're gonna edit it and visually make it so that you really don't feel
Yes.
at all. But some of those scenes were shot 2 weeks before,
That's
the
right.
match
Separate.
cut.
Yeah,
Where he's walking
exterior
out of
shot-
the door.
The exterior shot of the desert and the interior shot of the desert
Yeah.
room were shot apart, and the interior was done in the actual original room.
Wow.
So it was not we didn't recreate another room. We just actually just
Redressed.
redressed it
Yes.
and just matched the cuts between people going out of the room and
Yes.
receiving them on the outside shot.
Yeah.
Yes, the desert was a challenge though, especially the nights, right? Really cold. The desert was really far away from. It was like an hour and a half travel every day, right? And desert is really hardcore at night when it's raining.
Cold and heavy wind. Yeah, no,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it was rough.
And it was so dark out there too that it
Oh,
was
it's
just
crazy.
challenging for
Oh, it's
us.
pitch black.
A really fun,
Pitch black,
thing about this location is that it's a famous place where people claim to have seen aliens.
Yeah.
Yes, Chilca.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Oh, really?
From
Yes.
all, people from all over the world travel to Peru to go to this beach. It's
desert.
like a desert. The
Yes.
desert in Peru is next to the ocean, so
Yes.
they go to this desert beach
Yes.
to see
Aliens.
UFOs.
Oh, I was going to put it on my bucket list to visit there just to see that one room you built.
Well,
You will see, in addition
Yes.
to the room,
Yeah.
which actually we went back to shoot some pickup shots, some shots that were left.
Yeah.
And we went to the location. We got there very excited to shoot, and the shack had been burnt.
Oh, really?
Some people.
What happened is that there are people who are kind of farmers who own land kind of nearby. It's not really like they own it; they just use it, right? And we
Yeah.
were, we had permission to be there from the city hall, but I think they felt like we were encroaching upon whatever
Their
it is that
land.
they were doing
But
there.
I think they were worried that it might be.
This is the thing
Like-
because they had no idea that it was a film being done.
Yes.
They just saw a room. Oh, somebody's
Yes.
trying to put a settle here.
Oh, I
Yes.
see.
They just saw a shack, and they was like, oh, we're not gonna let anybody live here, so.
They burned it down.
It was miscommunication.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, we had filmed kind of everything. There was one shot
Yeah.
left or something.
Yeah, and you don't notice it. We had
You
to
don't
like
notice it.
hide the fact that there isn't a whole room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's movie magic.
Yeah,
It
totally.
is.
Yeah. Let me turn towards the cast. I mean, you had a wonderful cast that they're very funny and so on, and you had a lead actor, which I want to say I in a way I love to hate him, but towards the end, I had a tear coming out of my eye.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
that was
amazing.
that's great. Can you talk about the cast? How beautiful that was.
The main actor actually in Peru, actors that are good for film. That's gonna sound bad. Okay, there's not a long tradition of actors that are trained for film. There's a long tradition of theater.
Theater, yeah.
So the pool at the time I was conceiving the film of actors in that age range, and with that sort of physical,
set,
yeah, sort of in Peru like the whole class thing is usually tied to race, European descendants. So the guy needed to be white and needed to be in a certain age range. In that in that spectrum, he was the best by far. So I had him in mind from the beginning, and I asked him to be a part of the project like 4 years ago, and he was and then the rest was through casting.
Yes.
And, it was hard though. Like it was a lot of
One of the things
searching
I'm really
for the rest.
proud of in the movie is that even very small roles have amazing actors playing. Like,
Yeah, no,
for
totally.
instance, I don't know if you remember the guy that goes in to collect to the recycling, the demolition,
Yeah.
bald gentleman,
Yeah.
the Jaguar, right?
Yeah, no, the old Gloria, the maid.
Yes.
She's a legend in Peru.
Yes,
like
she's a
legend.
playwright.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes.
Playwright, yeah, like an activist,
Yes.
amazing person, very
Yes.
bigger than life kind of character, and we were very lucky to have her there.
Yes, obviously King Arthur is amazing. Moreira, right?
Yeah, the guy that plays the real estate mogul.
Yeah.
He was in my previous short, and he's I think one of the best actors of his generation. He's a little younger than our lead. Very lucky to have him too. It's like the cast, but in Peru they're kind of like in each role they're kind of top in their in their I guess age range. They're kind of like they're the top. Like really lucky to have a
Yes.
stellar cast like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let me wrap things up with you guys. You guys have future projects that you have in mind that you could talk about?
Yeah, one called The Restauracion of my soul.
Love this guy. Yeah, we do, right? Well, Sean and I are working in a documentary about a mid-distance runner who's attempting to qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yes, going really well. Sean was just shooting some of that in
Yeah.
Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we got some documentaries going on, and then,
Yes.
a whole bunch of.
Yes.
I'm a cinematographer.
Writing.
So I'm like,
Yeah, that guy works. He works.
Writing a couple of scripts, yeah, I mean, to be honest, this one was it was a lot of work, and I think that we need a tiny little bit of a break before jumping into the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Yes. Yeah, but working on a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, hey, gentlemen, thank you very much for speaking with me. Now I have this urge to travel down to Peru.
Yes, you got
Oh
it.
man, you're welcome.
Just to check out the architecture.
Yes.
Let me know if you do.
I will.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Nice seeing you.